capacity crowd, better than 19,000, making their way into Staples Center, the City of Angels, as we get ready for the second meeting of the season between the New York Knicks and the Los Angeles Lakers. The Knicks, coming off the win in Phoenix on Friday night, are only 2 games behind Washington in the race for that 8th and final playoff position. It will be a battle for 5 through 8 in the Eastern Conference. Hi, everybody. I'm Marv Albin, along with Walt, Clyde Frazier, and Clyde for the Knicks. This is game number 2 of the 6-game West Coast trip. In Phoenix Friday night, they came out firing away, in particular from downtown, 13 of 30 from beyond that three-point line.
Yeah, dazzling array of three-point shots by the Knicks, but not an aberration. Currently #1 in their prowess from downtown, 39% collectively. Spree had a couple of threes early on to set the tempo, but more than anything, the Knicks continuity now, getting them uncontested shots. So the opposition has been baffled by their splendid ball movement. Also, the Knicks playing with a lot of savvy and finding the hot hand at that particular time. So Allan Houston, their best three-point shooter, normally is a zone breaker. So the Knicks now in the zone from downtown. Need that tonight against these Lakers as well.
And Clyde, teams can live or die on that three-pointer, but to this point, the Knicks have been thriving at 39%. They lead the NBA in three-point accuracy, and tonight they face a team, as you can see, that does not defend well against the three, but a team, as reported moments ago on MSG Sports Desk, that will be without Shaquille O'Neal. Shaq still bothered by the sore toe and the sore knee, so he will sit out. It's expected that Samaki Walker will be the starter at center. Lakers have won 7 of their last 8 games. They're very much back in the playoff picture, only a half game behind the Houston Rockets, and they have been catapulted by the spectacular play of Kobe Bryant.
Yeah, Kobe's proliferation, conjuring up images of Elgin Baylor, Jerry West, former Laker greats. He's been on a run that few players have ever enjoyed in the NBA. So doing a lot of things, of course, that Michael used to do. Ferocious dunk shots, also 37% shooter from downtown. This creates a lot of havoc when he gets into the paint. Currently leading this team in dishing, swishing, steals, field goal percentage, minutes played. So Bryant, one of the consummate players now in the NBA.
With 4 straight games of 40 or more, Kobe has lifted his season average. He's second in the NBA in scoring behind Tracy McGrady. The last 8 games, he's averaging 42 points and shooting 50% from the field. Earlier today, Kobe had said that he has to get teammates more involved to get everybody in rhythm, but with Shaq out, that dramatically changes. Once again, the offense will focus around Kobe Bryant. Coming up, it's the Knicks and the Lakers from Staples. We'll take a break. Back in a moment with the starting lineups and the opening tip. The Los Angeles Lakers starting lineup without the injured Shaquille O'Neal. His left knee and right big toe are sore, so he will sit out tonight. The Knicks with Othello Harrington, Kurt Thomas. Now, that's not Kurt's smile after he heard that Shaq will be sidelined. Latrell Sprewell on the front line. Howard Isley and Allan Houston in the backcourt. And Don Chaney talking to his club as they get ready for this second and final meeting of the season against the Lakers at the Garden, February 6th, just prior to the All-Star break. Lakers beat the Knicks 114-109. The Knicks trailed Phil Jackson's team by as many as 34 points, and then a furious comeback fell short. The Knicks had a 17-0 run to get back into it.
Yeah, I thought it would be the greatest comeback in Knicks history, but they fell short. A block shot by Shaq. Spree tried to penetrate inside. The Lakers up by 6. That sealed their fate. But the Lakers had sweet harmony on the offense. 7 Lakers were in double digits, and that was the scenario for the Knicks in Phoenix. 7 Knicks were in double digits, so the Knicks will need that type of cohesion tonight if they want to defeat the Lakers as well.
Knicks have lost 3 straight to the Lakers, 4 of the last 5 here in LA. And with Shaquille O'Neal out of the lineup, first 12 games of the season, Lakers went 3-9. He was recovering from the toe injury. The Lakers, in their new look white uniforms. They wear these uniforms on Sunday nights. So Samaki Walker opening at center against Kurt Thomas, and the Lakers control the tip. There's Derek Fisher being played by Howard Isley. Samaki Walker shooting over Thomas. The Knicks at 22 and 28 on the road, 7 up, 14 down. It is game 2 of the 6-game trip. Sprewell, he thought that he was hit, and discusses it with the official Ed F. Rush. It's Ed Rush, Leroy Richardson, and Gary Benson working tonight's game.
Good hands by Howard Isley that time, deflecting the ball from Kobe. The Lakers will have it along the side.
Lakers last game Friday night here at home. They lost to San Antonio 103-95. Robert Horry from downtown. How about the Spurs? They win in LA on Friday. Today they win at Sacramento. Here's Houston. Yes, had the foot on the line. That's a two-pointer. The win by the Spurs here on Friday stopped the Lakers win streak at 7. Spurs have now won 8 in a row, and they have taken 3 of 3 against the Lakers this season. There's Bryant forcing one. Bad shot by Kobe.
Good intimidation by Spree. So that's going to be a dramatic confrontation throughout the game. Kobe and Spree.
Thomas was hit by Horry.
Was not any active shooting, so the Knicks will have it right in front of that bench along the side.
Kobe Bryant against the Spurs on Friday attempted 41 shots. He was 19 for 41. Here's Harrington. And the Knicks off to a 4-0 lead. So 41 shots for Kobe the other night, and he was not on his game, although he had the 44 points. The rest of the team took 50 shots.
Might be a similar scenario tonight for Kobe. There he goes, baseline.
Kobe Bryant able to score on the reverse for the Lakers' first field goal.
And we mentioned at the top of the show, you have to deny his penetration, shut off that baseline, and Knicks allowed him to go that way this time.
Sprewell for 3. Latrell backing to three-point territory, so the Knicks will lead the NBA in three-point shooting accuracy at 39%. Able to hit on their first attempt from downtown. Horry.
Lakers a good offensive rebounding team. Get a second opportunity here.
Bryant. And Houston starts back. Allen looking for the shot, but Fox did not allow it.
Nice clear out for Kurt Thomas to go one-on-one.
And Thomas able to hit. Looked like Walker got a piece of it. Kurt Thomas coming off a strong game against Phoenix, although he did miss those 2 free throws down the stretch. But played well, stayed out of foul trouble for the most part. Here's Bryant. And got the step and then was bumped on the play. Was about to throw back outside to Walker.
When I played the pick and roll play, bedevil guys on defense. Right now it's denying a guy going baseline. Watch Kobe go baseline, reversing off the glass. Knicks must use this baseline as an extra man to deny him and get help. That's Bryant. A travel there. Kobe too zealous to start the game now, forcing up that shot. The Knicks have it in the backcourt.
And really, there's no choice in this situation with Shaquille O'Neal sitting down. Even with Shaq in the lineup, and he has struggled because of the injuries, not getting his normal touches, as Allan Harrington has given the Knicks an 11-2 lead. And you can hear the stir in the crowd. Bryant being played by Sprewell. And then Harrington over to help. Harrington leaving Horry. Here's Fisher for 3.
Fisher, 37% shooter from there. So right in the corner, the shortest three-point shot you can make 22 feet away.
Sprewell driving to his left. An off-balance shot rebounded by Walker. Fisher. Nice play by Horry. And Ori able to chase it down.
Relentless pursuit by Ori. He averages 7 bounds a game at 6'10".
Fox surprising Fisher, so the ball back to the Knicks.
Lakers in disarray to start the game. Bryant overzealous. That time Fox an ill-advised pass. So the Knicks, the antithesis of that, they have been superb on the offense thus far.
It's over 4 minutes gone by, and the Knicks have an 11-5 lead. See Bryant digging in on Sprewell. Sprewell backing his way, won't count, called for a traveling violation.
I thought he traveled on the previous play as well, shuffled his feet. So Kobe has a travel violation. That time, Kobe a good defender, folks. So forcing Spree into the turnover.
See Sprewell picking up Bryant at midcourt. Fox had to give it back. And it's a 3-second violation, so the ball back to the Knicks.
And a dismal beginning for the Lakers right now. The second consecutive turnover by them. Knicks must capitalize, though. Lakers are disoriented. Knicks must capitalize on this futility right now by the Lakers.
Lakers started the year 11-19. They've won 15 of the last 20. They started the season without Shaquille O'Neal. Here's Houston taking it to the rim, and that's always a good sign for the Knicks. He was tripped up, so he'll go to the line. Foul called on Fox.
This play indicative to the metamorphosis Houston has made this season. More aggressive now going to the glass, and he should be. He's the best in the business from the free throw line. There you saw that whack by Fox, so Houston for 2.
Allen now 92%. He is actually in a tie with Steve Nash of the Mavericks, closely followed by Ray Allen. Closed captioning brought to you by the New York State Smokers Quit Line. And how about the Knicks going to the free throw line as frequently as they did the other night against the Phoenix Suns?
Yep, marvelous job. Very aggressive play by the Knicks. Also good rebounding in that game against the Suns.
27 of 32 at the line for the team that is last in free throw attempts. Here's Bryant, had to kick it out. Fox has been hesitant to shoot. Rebounded by Walker. Fisher, no hesitation. That's a two-pointer for Derek Fisher.
And the second opportunity for Fisher now. So he has 5 points, only averaging 10 on the season.
Harrington. And knocked out of bounds by Thomas.
Lakers seem to have regained their composure now. This time they want to talk, though, as they bring the ball up. They want to talk it over.
Timeout called, 6.5 remaining in this first quarter. Knicks 13, Lakers 7. A look at downtown Los Angeles as we welcome you back. New York Knicks basketball is brought to you in part by Nissan and your Nissan dealer, by Canon Business Solutions, digital technology powered by people, by AIG, insurance, financial services, and the freedom today, and by Chrysler Drive and Love. Well, Clyde, you mentioned that you were getting together earlier with your former teammate, Phil Jackson. Now, what were you guys talking about?
The game in New York. He said, Clyde, I didn't see you at the game, but he saw Dave was there, Willis Reed. He said Dick Barnett came into the locker room.
Now, when you were a teammate of Phil Jackson, and you're thinking, let's see, down the road, you're saying to yourself, I'll probably go into broadcasting. Bill Bradley's going into politics. Dave DeBusschere I could see as an executive. What did you say about Phil Jackson?
He would probably be in Woodstock right about.
Exactly. Did anyone think that he would be a head coach in the NBA?
No way. No way. I know he didn't own a suit when I was his roommate. Right. So I get a kick now seeing him all dapper on the bench in a suit and tie.
Second quarter is underway. And the Knicks turn it over. Shannon Anderson, who just checked in, lost it. This is the rookie from Missouri, Kareem Rush. So Phil Jackson using his entire squad here in the first half. Now Evan George working on Latrell Sprewell. Charlie Ward on the floor for the first time, as is Clarence Weatherspoon. Charlie Ward coming off a strong game against the Suns on Friday.
Knicks very tentative with the ball now.
Blocking foul on Medvedenko. Slava Medvedenko in his third NBA season from the Ukraine. Played professionally in the Ukraine and Lithuania before signing with the Lakers. Anderson not able to hit. And here comes Bryant. So Kobe now in the backcourt with Rush, Ori, Medvedenko, and George on the front line. Medvedenko. Lakers up 27-22. It's a 15-2 run by Los Angeles.
Knicks apprehensive on the offense, lacking cohesion now.
Nice play by Ward. Charlie Ward against Phoenix on Friday. 11 points, 6 assists. Hit 3 from downtown. In fact, passed Trent Tucker on the Knick all-time list, moving into the number 3 slot behind John Starks and Allan Houston.
Kobe shot very flat now, that time along the baseline. Whoa.
He tried to pull up. Traveling violation.
That's in a scenario where you're thinking rather than reacting. He'd already made up his mind to make the pass, and then the Laker defense shutting off the passing lane.
A moment ago, before that bucket by Charlie Ward, the Knicks had gone scoreless for 4 minutes and 12 seconds. Meanwhile, the Lakers had reeled off 11 unanswered.
Kobe very erratic with his shooting.
And the holding foul is charged to Sprewell.
Kobe, during the offseason, put on 15 pounds of muscle. You can see it whenever he penetrates to the basket. Also with his dunks now, very ferocious dunks, reverberating in the basket as well.
Allan Houston checks back in. Latrell Sprewell picking up a second foul, sits down. Leads with 5 points. Here's Bryant to the fadeaway. Bryant now being guarded by Shannon Anderson, who is an excellent defensive player. So he needed some space and was able to throw it up on a fadeaway move. Offensive foul. It's on Anderson.
Knicks have not had success going one-on-one. Spree, Houston, now Anderson have been inept with their one-on-one opportunities, so the Lakers have it in the backcourt.
The Knicks got off to the good start. Lakers was struggling. Lakers have turned it around. They now lead at 29-23. We are early in the second. Robert Horry lost his balance and went down over the far side.
Kobe starting to get one-on-one opportunities now.
Bryant now 5 for 10, 11 points.
And that's 2 consecutive hoops over Anderson. That time one-on-one, no help could get there.
Houston being played by George. Weatherspoon tried to set up the screen.
Thomas in the paint was open. Knicks missed him.
Nice get and going. Anderson puts it down. Shannon Anderson serving up a facial. Lakers 31, Knicks 25. Here's Bryant. Medvedenko couldn't get to it. Weatherspoon does. Anderson on the run, rushes back, and the foul is called. It is a blocking foul on Kareem Rush.
So Anderson energized after the remarkable dunk shot. So good ESP with he and Thomas along the baseline. Watch Shannon 6'6" rising majestically for the stuff. So he was going to shoot 2 now as he was fouled in transition. Good dishing there by the Knicks.
From 4 to 6 every weekday on the MSG Network. Bill Daughtry, Bob Wischusen. Talk of our town. Guest interviews, phone calls. It's Talk of Our Town, 4 to 6 every weekday right here on MSG. And now you can listen to Talk of Our Town streaming live on the internet at msgnetwork.com. Well, busy times for the New York Knicks tomorrow. They'll face the Blazers in Portland. 10 o'clock start on MSG. Wednesday on to Seattle. Also a 10 o'clock game. Friday, the Knicks at Golden State. And then Sunday, they face the Kings in Sacramento to conclude the 6-game Western trip.
Exquisite timing.
Weather-wise,
schedule
yes.
makers.
See you chuckle, and there are people back in the East who are very unhappy. Wow, that's terrible.
No, I didn't even
Of course not. Of course.
I mean, I didn't go to the beach today. It was nice enough, but I didn't go.
Exactly. Our Shannon Anderson brings the Knicks within 4. Michael Goliak on the floor for the first time. Weatherspoon is up front now with Goliak and Anderson.
Bryant out of the game. Fisher's had the hot hand. Some other Laker must step up now.
Rush back to George. Nice ball movement. Kareem Rush. First round pick originally of the Raptors and then traded to the Lakers in the deal that also involved Tracy Murray. Rush defending on Houston. It will count. And the foul.
So watch the good penetration by Houston. He's been elusive off the dribble. So Rush right there is 6'3". There was the foul, the continuation by the 6'6" Houston. So Allen able to exploit the neophyte, getting 6 feet away. And he's at the line now trying to complete the three-point play.
Houston has hit all 3 of his free throws, and that brings the Knicks within 3. Rush handling against Anderson. Kobe Bryant getting a rest. Interesting unit that Phil Jackson has on the floor. Fisher for 3. Those may have just tuned in. Shaquille O'Neal is sitting out. He's been bothered by a sore left knee, sore right big toe. Here is Houston. Yes. And the Knicks are within 1. A 9-2 run by New York.
A rejuvenated Knicks team now after their offensive stupor. Houston providing the impetus now. He's had the last 5 points.
Evan George. Evan George found confidence in his shot at the NBA Finals last June. He played well, was signed to a new 4-year, $18 million contract. Very disappointing at the start of the season. Foul is called on Fisher. Evan George, known for his defensive play, has come on as of late.
That's why he's in the game now, trying to deny Houston. So Allen has made the last 2 points, 2 baskets, and looking for more.
Houston was feeling for George, who is walloped. Allan Houston facing the double team and was fouled.
Allen becoming very adept at getting to the line this season. We saw previously the dribble penetration, and this time the good head fake to get George in the air. So 2 more free throw attempts for Houston.
Second foul committed by George. Allan Houston off to a good start, playing through that jammed right wrist. He was wearing the wrap on Friday night of the game against the Suns, not wearing it tonight. He suffered the injury just prior to the All-Star break in the game against the Lakers when he was rammed and ended up in a collision with Rick Fox. Still, he scored 32 against Golden State prior to the Knicks heading to the West Coast, and played well the other night against the Suns. Houston able to break it up. Lakers have 10 on the shot clock. Allan Houston has the last 7 points for the Knicks. Knicks down by 1. 6:43 remaining in this first half.
The Lakers looking for someone to step up offensively. They've had good continuity, but can't finish on their shots.
Rush on the spin, but coughed it up. Here's Ward. Goliak. Yes. The Knicks have recaptured the lead. Up by 1. Phil Jackson, I would think, is feeling it, saying to himself, how long can I get away with keeping Kobe Bryant out? But to rest Kobe at this point.
Ori, not really a post-up player, more of a perimeter player.
Forced shot by Ori. That's not one of the usual repertoire.
Right, a fallback baby jumper by Ori, able to get it down.
So the Lakers lead by 1. Clyde, we wonder how the upcoming game between the Lakers and the Rockets, with Shaq scheduled to go against Yao Ming on Tuesday. Here's Houston. You wonder how that played into his decision of sitting out tonight with the knee and the toe. You know he wants to go. That's a double dribble call, and the ball back to the Knicks, because you know that Shaq wants to go up against Yao on Tuesday. Timeout taken. 5:38 remaining, first half. Well, coming up on Wednesday, February the 26th, at the Garden, Big East contest. Marcus Hatton and St. John's going up against Boston College. Tickets available at the Garden box office and through Ticketmaster. College Hoops presented by Dreyfus. Be there for the next great moment. St. John's and Boston College at the Garden. Well, among those on hand here tonight at Staples, Penny Marshall, Diane Cannon, a regular along the baseline. Chris Rock turning out. And of course, fan to our left, Jack is here. Five and a half remaining in this first half. Marv Albert, Walt Clyde Frazier from Los Angeles. Lakers with a 37-36 lead on the Knicks. Kobe Bryant back on the floor. Doliak with the rebound, and Doliak is able to score.
Yeah, good dexterity by Doliak with the left hand.
So Bryant and Fisher in the backcourt. Horry is up front. Fox has made his return. Mark Matson on the floor for the first time.
See the triangle offense here. The Lakers still running that under Jackson.
Fisher off balance with the shot clock running down. Doliak, time too strong. Lakers have won 7 of their last 8. Charlie Ward trying to pick up a foul. And Rush said no. There's Fox able to elude Houston. Rebounded by Horry, and he's fouled.
Horry averages 7 pounds a game to go with 7 points. Now he's at the line looking for 2.
Foul committed by Clarence Weatherspoon.
Both teams been exploited on the offensive glass. Previously, we saw Doliak rebound and score. But this time, Horry getting a second opportunity.
For the Knicks, only their second team foul. Lakers already over the foul limit. Latrell Sprewell is getting set to make his return. Robert Horry at the line in his 11th season out of Alabama. Mr. Clutch, as always, in the postseason. Now has 5 championship rings. 3 with the Lakers, 2 with the Rockets.
Surprisingly, only 28% shooter from downtown. But like you say, Mr. Clutch, when they really count, he can get them down. Like Sprewell, attended Alabama, so they're a good friend.
Lakers have taken a 1-point lead.
Knicks in good position here. Sprewell has had a silent night. Early foul rolls relegated him to the bench.
Michael Doliak has had the touch. 3 for 4, 6 points. And the Knicks lead by 1. Brown wants Matson to shoot. Fox the 3. And Doliak with the good hands, and then unleashes. Fisher back. Houston behind the back. Houston is able to score. What a move by Allan Houston.
A little razzle dazzle by Houston, igniting this crowd, exciting them as well.
The Knicks with a 42-39 lead. Nice pass. Horry from Matson, who is fouled. And Mark Matson will head to the line. Foul committed by Houston.
Watch Houston. When he played at Tennessee, we often saw him doing a lot of this type of stuff, but rarely as a Knick. So that time, exquisite ball handling by Houston, shaking, baking, and swooping to the hoop.
Clyde, I think he's been saving that one.
So this guy, a crowd favorite. You can hear the cheers in the background from Matson as he makes the first free throw. And
a timeout call by the Knicks. Look, why this past Friday, the 35th anniversary of the first basketball game at the present Madison Square Garden. Knicks going up against the San Diego Rockets. See Clyde handing off to Dick Barnett. Barnett with a fallback baby jumper. And this is Toby Kimball losing it to Dick Barnett, racing with John McLaughlin. And Barnett able to score. Now, you were the high point man, 22 points, 10 assists to lead the Knicks, and had the first ever field goal at the Garden. Don Kogis leading San Diego. Remember Don, 37 points, 12 rebounds. That's the first field goal, I should say, for the Knicks. That was the second of a doubleheader. Detroit played Boston in the first game. Mark Matson at the line. He is only 5 of 15 at the line this season. And hits 1 of 2, hit the first. So that was back on February 14th, 1968.
Stu Lance played in that game. Yes. One of our colleagues now with the Lakers in broadcasting.
Nice move again by Houston, and the Knicks now lead by 4. Yes, Stu working the Laker broadcast on radio and television. Coming up on 3 minutes remaining in the first half. Matson guarded by Weatherspoon. Here's Bryant.
Whoa.
Kept alive by Matson. Bryant over Doliak. Doliak was trying to draw a charging foul.
Kobe kind of limping up the court after that shot. Has a wrap on his right leg right there. Might have banged knees with Doliak.
It's the Knicks 44 and the Lakers 42. Now Fox defending on Houston.
Houston has had the hot hand.
Good play by Fox.
Houston not protecting the ball with his body that time. Fox able to get a hand in there, but the Knicks have it along the baseline. Watch Kobe. Uncanny leaping ability there over the 6'11" Doliak.
Sprewell, a difficult angle. Doliak able to get to it. And the Knicks with the new 24.
Both teams able to get second opportunity.
Here's Sprewell for 3.
Nice continuity here by the Lakers. Good screen by Matson to free up Fisher.
Weatherspoon with the box out and deflected out by Samaki Walker, who did not like that call. We are down to 2 minutes to go in this first half. The Knicks with the ball and a 2-point lead. Allan Houston leading the way for the Knicks with 17. Shooting over Fox. Good play by Fox. Did not allow Houston the shot that he was looking for.
Too much dribbling now by the Lakers.
Bryant and Weatherspoon on the rebound. So Kobe Bryant now 6 of 14. He has 13 points. Weatherspoon getting inside on Matson. Walker with the rebound. Doliak picking up. Bryant, now Sprewell gets back to him. And offensive foul.
Ward leads the team in drawing offensive fouls. So that time doing a superb job denying Kobe. Kobe thought he saw an entrance inside. Watch the speed by Kobe. Watch Ward move right there and the contact. So the Knicks have it in the backcourt.
Bryant with his first.
So many times you see players reaching in that scenario. Ward got his body in front of Kobe, denying him.
Houston draws the foul. It counts, and the foul committed by Rick Fox.
Last 2 possessions, Fox has denied Houston. But this time, Allen would not be denied. You see the one-on-one opportunity right there, about 14 feet away, draining the jumper. Now looking for one from 15 feet away from the line is Houston. And Houston's creativity now making him a very formidable player on the offense.
20 points for Allan Houston. Remember the earlier meeting in New York, he played only 21 minutes, did not play in the second half, did not play much in the second half because of the wrist injury. Good play. And last touch by the Knicks.
I don't think so. Kobe just inadvertently lost the ball on the way up. They say the Knicks hit it, but nobody hit it. Watch him. He's just going to lose it inadvertently. You see that?
Right, yes.
Slipped right out of his hand.
The official ruling it was deflected out. Lakers get a break. Shot clock down to 7. Bryant played well by Sprewell. Here's Bryant shooting on the run. That's a 3 for Kobe. What a shot. The Knicks now lead 47-45. Houston for 3. Right back. Allan Houston able to answer. He has 23. The Knicks with a 50-45 lead.
That time you saw Houston with the game face on after he drained the three-pointer.
Allan has scored the last 10 points for the Knicks. We're down to 10 seconds to go in the half. Fisher getting around Ward.
Fisher's been a lethal weapon all evening.
Final seconds of this first half. Sprewell. Good half for the Knicks. They lead the Lakers 50-47. Don Chaney upset with a couple of calls, including that phantom deflection, as the ball, as we saw on the replay, was not touched by the Knicks, and that cost the Knicks 3 points because the Lakers able to come back and score.
Right, Kobe relentlessly coming back from downtown with a running jumper.
So coming up, the Tri-State Jeep halftime report. Jeep, the most respected and honored 4x4s out there, only in a Jeep 4x4. Deb Kaufman at the desk. We'll be back here in Los Angeles after Deb wraps up the day in sports. It's a 50-47 Knick lead at halftime. Back at the Staples Center in Los Angeles, New York Knicks basketball is brought to you in part by the new American Express card, now with rewards built in. By Continental Airlines, work hard, fly right. By your local Lincoln Mercury dealer. And by MetLife. Have you MetLife today? Marv Albert with Walt Clyde Frazier. Knicks have a 50-47 lead on the Lakers. Look at the halftime statistics. Knicks shooting the ball well, 51%, 20 of 39, only 2 of 7 though from downtown. And the Lakers at 20 of 43, 47%.
Yeah, but the Lakers have 7 offensive rebounds, and that is manifested into 10-2 lead in second point opportunities. So the Knicks must keep them off the board. Very interesting stat here, Marv. When the Lakers trail at a halftime, they've only been victorious in 2 contests. They are 2-16 in such games, and right now they are trailing the Knicks.
And for the most part, those difficulties took place earlier in the season. The Lakers started the year at 11-19. They have won 15 of the last 20. They've won 7 of their last 8. And tonight, once again, going without Shaquille O'Neal.
Looked like Fox pushed Houston that time right at the last moment on the shot. No foul call.
Lakers open up the second half with Bryant and Fisher at the guards. Fox, Walker, and Horry up front. Rick Fox going high off glass. Isley and Houston in the backcourt with Thomas, Harrington, and Sprewell up front. Here's Sprewell wide open. And a loose ball foul on Kurt Thomas. That's his second foul.
Sprewell's continues. Only 2 of 7 starting the third quarter. Misfired on his first attempt, so he has to get it going. You can see right there, he's baffled as well by his inefficiency on the offense.
Lakers coming off the loss to the Spurs here on Friday night. Stop the win streak at 7. Knicks continue to do the good job against Bryant.
Bryant won't move the ball. Waits too long.
Fox. And back comes Sprewell.
There's Houston with Isley also open.
Howard Isley from downtown, and the Knicks open up a 53-47 lead. Isley's first field goal. Horry on the run.
Oh, nice swoop by the 6'10" Ori.
He caught the Knicks snapping. They did not get back. Robert Horry taking that lead pass, and there was no help. So the Knicks lead by 4. Knicks coming into tonight only 2 games behind the Wizards in that 8th and final spot. Holding foul on Samaki Walker. Knicks at 22 and 28, playing game 2 of a very tough 6-game West Coast trip. Kurt Thomas extends to a 55-49 advantage.
This is the proficiency the Knicks started the game with. Good dishing and swishing, and there's a similar scenario now early in the 3rd quarter.
And you can see Kobe Bryant is trying to get teammates involved here at the start of the 3rd. Oh, Bryant with a beautiful shoulder ball move.
Sprewell is very gullible going for it. And now the Knicks turn it over in the backcourt. The Lakers will have it there.
All right, Jack. Kobe Bryant has changed his approach from the start of the season. As see Kobe put the move on Sprewell. Earlier on, he would start the game very passive in the first half, and then would come on in the second half. Now, this is without Shaq on the floor when Shaq was out with the toe problem. Phil Jackson was telling Kobe, just play your game. The other guys will feed off your play. Recently, he has been shooting the ball quite a bit. Rick Fox. And the reason he's been taking that many shots is because Shaq has been laboring with the knee and the toe. 22nd timeout called by the Knicks. The Knicks lead is down to 2 with 9:15 remaining in this 3rd quarter.
Kobe, we thought Kobe made a basket over Doliak. It looked like he was limping up the court. At that time, did not have a sleeve on his knee, but he has one now. It has a black sleeve on his knee, so we'll keep an eye on that.
Well, coming up on March the 12th at Chelsea Piers, it's Knicks Bowl 4. You can test your bowling skills against the entire team while joining the Knicks coaching staff and a host of celebrities. All money raised benefits the Red Holzman Cheering for Children Foundation. For more information, call the Knicks fan line 877-NYK-DUNK.
See, Kobe right there did not start the game with that brace on his leg. Just had a wrap on it, but now looks like he's favoring it as well when he runs on the court.
Here's Isley again. Yes! Another 3 for Howard Isley. And the Knicks lead 58-53. Knicks in the first half, only 2 of 7 from downtown, and Isley has come out and hit 2. Three-point attempt by Fisher. Kept alive by Horry. Here's Fisher getting inside.
And again, the second opportunity. We mentioned that early on at the end of the half. The Lakers had 7 offensive bounds, so give Horry another one there and a basket.
We talked about it at the start of the telecast, the fact that the Lakers do not defend well against three-point shooting. They do not come out. They don't close well. Knicks not able to take advantage in the first half. Here's Bryant way off, and Thomas not able to handle it. So the Lakers have it with 12 on the shot clock.
Again, Bryant can get any shot he wants with his athleticism. No reason to force up shots. That's a very poor opportunity.
Kobe now 8 of 17. He has 18 points.
Kobe becomes frustrated because the double teaming, the Knicks are double and triple teaming him right now.
Walker. Nice spin by Samaki, and then a loose ball foul on Samaki Walker. That is his first. Samaki Walker last year bothered by knee and elbow problems that will set him back in the playoffs. Here's Thomas, and he is fouled. Late reaction by Walker. Thomas had actually released and then was bumped down.
And the shot was short, too. It was going to be short off the rim. Walker, 6'10", bails him out. Watch, you should go straight up if you want to block a shot. See him right there? Reached in, got him on the arm. So Thomas to shoot 2.
Thomas is 71% free throw shooter. Remember, he missed the 2 free throws with 9 seconds right down the stretch the other night against the Phoenix Suns.
Very annoyed man right there, Don Chaney.
Don Chaney saying after the game, as Thomas misses on both, Kurt has to have more concentration during practice in the free throw department. 4.5 gone by in the third quarter. Here's Fox. There was a 3-point attempt. And again, Horry on the loose ball.
Horry creating havoc now for the Knicks.
Nice move. Try to go glass. Rebounded by Thomas.
Oh, yeah.
A fella Harrington from Howard Isley. Harrington losing his man. Isley collecting his 4th assist. Here's Fox with the step.
Yeah, Houston, the culprit. Poor defensive effort that time by Houston, allowing Fox to go baseline.
The Knicks lead 60-57.
Pace has quickened now.
Houston feeling for Fox and scores.
Yep, a little more continuity by both teams.
Tried to get the idea there's a little bit more going tonight for Allan Houston. Remember, after sitting out that second half against the Lakers in the game in New York, there was criticism from TNT color analyst Danny Ainge, who felt that Allan was not looking to get back in there. He'd hurt his wrist. Foul is called on Thomas. That's 3 on Kurt Thomas. Houston said that that's not the case, that he was hurt. He was not looking to stay out because the Knicks were being blown out at the time.
Yeah, he's come out with a vengeance tonight, as Allan Houston. On both ends, good defensive effort, but the last possession, poor effort allowing Fox to go baseline to score on him.
Not to say necessarily that Danny Ainge is the guy motivating Allan Houston tonight, but I would think there is.
I think it helped.
Yeah, that is on his mind. Foul is called on Isley. No, it's an offensive foul. The official at the far side, Leroy Richardson, making the call on Medvedenko, says a tripping foul.
And that's why Howard Isley was in disarray, because he was tripped first. Then he banged into Fisher. The Knicks have it in the front court.
The Knicks up by 5, 6 minutes remaining in the third. Houston, yes.
And a lot of shoving going on. Horry and Harrington now. And both will be assessed with the technical.
Robert Horry and a fella Harrington. Double technicals are called.
And they're going to get Harrington out of the game, because he's very upset now. So Spoon will check in to replace him. See what happened underneath the screen. Left side of your screen right there. You see they're entwined. Horry shoved off, so did Harrington. Good job by the officials to get this game under control. So the Lakers have it in the backcourt.
Bryant and Fisher in the backcourt. Devin George has come back with Slava Medvedenko. And Bryant is fouled by Sprewell. That's 3 on Latrell. And a timeout is called. Just under 6 remaining in the third. It is an action-packed Sunday night in the world of sports. You get the complete rundown. Kurt Menefee, Deb Kaufman on the MSG Sports Desk, presented by Toyota. They'll have Knicks post-game. The Nets losing to the Philadelphia 76ers. Allen Iverson leading the way with 32, and the full squad of the Yankees reporting down in Florida.
Happily reporting.
Yes. You've been concentrating on the weather. Latrell Sprewell was not pleased about that last foul call. He is still discussing it. And a fella Harrington was upset a moment ago, which led to the push with
Ooh.
Robert Horry. Yeah, that's the reason he was upset.
Forearm shiver by Horry. No foul call.
And that continued down at the other end, leading to the double technical on Robert Horry and Othello Harrington, who is feeling a bit better about things at this moment.
That's why Cheney put him on the bench so he can regain his composure.
The Knicks 64, Lakers 59. Here's Houston for three. Allan Houston this time over Slava Medvedenko, and Houston 11 of 18. He has 30 points. He's putting up the Kobe numbers to this juncture
without forcing the ball.
Kobe Bryant with 22 points.
See Kobe running very stiff-legged on that right leg, but not hindering him on the good stuff.
Now Devin George defending on Houston. 5 minutes remaining in the third.
That should get Kobe going. The dunk shot. They should come back to him.
Fisher. Derek Fisher has shot the ball very well tonight. 8 of 13. He has 17 points, and the Lakers are within 4. Howard Isley bothered by Fisher. Got it off to Houston. Yes, from downtown. The quick release of Allan Houston. Devin George not able to get there in time.
Houston barely getting his toes behind the arc as he fell down to drain the jumper.
The Knicks lead by 7.
See, there's the double. That's why Kobe couldn't penetrate.
Sprewell with the block. Here's Sprewell putting the move on George. Right to the left hand to give the Knicks a 72-63 lead.
Maybe that will get Spree going. He's had a very mediocre night.
Foul called on Isley. For Allan Houston, it's his 10th 30-plus game this season, and he had scored the last 10 points for the Knicks prior to that drive by Sprewell.
Take a look at Kobe and his frustration now. Knicks are doubling him. Well, this is the dunk by Kobe. He finally saw some daylight and reverse dunk. So the Lakers have it now. Looking for Kobe one-on-one against Spree. There's the double by Thomas.
And the foul is called. It's on Sprewell. That's number 4. He'll head to the bench.
That shows the savvy of Kobe that time. He knew the double was coming. Took one dribble to get inside. Used the head fake to get Sprewell to foul him. So he's shooting 2. Spree had just made a hooping transition. Was starting to feel some adrenaline. Now relegated to the bench. Anderson returns to the game.
Bryant 3 for 4 from the line.
He's a good free throw shooter.
23 points. Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant. 8 straight games of 35 points or more. Puts him in some elite company. Wilt Chamberlain had 33 straight of 35 or more. Michael Jordan 10 in a row. Elgin Baylor with 9 straight.
Kobe hounding Houston now. A lot of physical contact there.
And it counts. Allan Houston with the spinning move on Kobe Bryant through the foul, and Houston to the line.
Houston an offensive juggernaut now. Previously we saw him running from behind the arc. Right here hustling and muscling against Kobe. There you saw the contact, the continuation by Houston. So he's like a man possessed out there now.
36 points for Houston. His season high 39, his career high 44. And the Knicks have their biggest lead of the game. They're up by 10. Here's George.
Yeah, good D by Thomas, forcing him out.
Anderson. Back comes Fisher. Here's Horry, changed his mind, had the 3, but gave it up. Medvedenko. Nowhere to go. Slapped away by Thomas. The Knicks with a 4-on-3. Houston to the crossover. Houston comes up short. Thomas with the rebound, and he's fouled. Hit from behind by Ori.
Two superb defensive plays by Thomas, and now a good rebound, sending them to the line to shoot two. So rejuvenated Knicks team. All the Knicks with the knack now. Watch the steal by Thomas. Medvedenko not protecting the ball. Houston forced it up. Kurt with the rebound. And now that was live action, and he's missed 3 consecutive free throw attempts.
Clyde, is it residue from the 2 free throws missed down the stretch against the Suns?
It should not be, because it didn't cost them the game. Normally, if it costs you the game. Oh.
Well, you think about it.
Obviously,
yes.
obviously he is.
Let's see the reaction of Don Chaney as he missed that first. Knicks now lead by 11, and a bad shot by Bryant.
Knicks need to keep moving the ball. Ball movement, they get most of the shots that they want when they move the ball.
Shot clock at 8. Oh, Bryant with the strip and the foul on Isley.
Again, a good foul by Howard Isley. The Lakers will not be able to capitalize, and now they want to talk.
Well, both teams are over the foul limit. Here is that steal which led to the foul. Well, Met Baseball at Shea just around the corner, and if you'd like to purchase season tickets, or interested in finding out about the ticket plans, the number to call 718-507-TICKS. Make that call during business hours. Mets baseball. Well, a late add to our celebrity list here at Staples, Raquel Welch taking in the action.
I used to have her picture on my wall 33 years ago.
33 years ago?
Yeah, that caveman movie she played, they had this poster, lifestyle. Oh, she was pretty cool then.
I'm told it's picture still on the wall.
I should go over and tell her that.
All right, Kobe Bryant back to the line. He's 5 for 6. 25 points for Kobe. Knicks have played well. They lead by 10. Certainly did not mind hearing the news just before the start of the game during the warm-ups that Shaquille O'Neal will be sitting out because of the sore knee, sore toe. Shaq back in the Laker locker room. Here's Houston. It's a rare miss for Houston, but kept alive by Anderson. Ori switching off to Isley. Where's the mismatch? It's Fisher playing Anderson. And then Ori able to get back on Anderson.
Thomas the mismatch now inside.
And he is fouled. Lakers are over the limit. The foul on Medvedenko. That's 3 on Medvedenko.
Good articulation that time by the Knicks, looking to exploit the Lakers with the mismatches. So Thomas able to work inside against Kobe, and he's shooting 2.
Kurt is only 1 of 4 at the line. Usually a decent foul shooter at 71%. Knicks up by 10. Well, Sprewell sitting it out after call for his 4th foul. So a fella Harrington next to him, a fella sitting down after he picked up a technical, a double technical, getting involved with Robert Ori. Knicks lead by 11. Bryant. 28 for Kobe Bryant. Houston off the hesitation move.
George making Houston force his shot now. The last 2 have been forced by Allen.
Here's Fisher. That's a 2-pointer. He had a foot on the line. And the Lakers are within 7.
And the crowd also started to get involved again.
Coming up on 1 minute remaining in the 3rd. Weatherspoon deflected out. Last touch by the Lakers.
Too much dribbling that time by Howard Isley. A precarious pass, but the Knicks will retain it in the front court.
Knicks will have 9 on the shot clock. Martin Matson reports back for Slava Medvedenko.
Houston is Devin George doing a good job on Houston now. So the Knicks should try to get Allen some shots over screens rather than trying to go one-on-one against George. Here he goes again.
Nice fake to draw the foul on George.
Yeah, last 2 possessions, Allen forcing up shots. Good D by George. You're always vulnerable when you leave your feet on the defense. So that time, watch George go for the head fake. Quick pull up by Houston. And there goes George. So Allen at the line for 2.
Clyde Donchaney has to love the way Allan Houston is playing, not because he's hitting shots, but he's been very aggressive. He's taking it to the rim. He's doing it in other departments. And when he's on the move and playing with assertiveness, he'll go to the foul line.
Right, and from there, he's a lethal shooter, of course, one of the best in the league. But also what he's going to be able to do if he doesn't get a shot is break down the defense of the Lakers and find an open Nick. So Houston a very valuable man right now.
Houston has 38 points. He's 9 of 9 at the line. Matson setting up against Thomas. Bryant with no angle draws the foul.
And again, Anderson, the Cardinals saying the defense, leaving your feet. And just like with Houston doing on Devin George, able to draw the contact. Watch Shandon right there. Trying to block it from behind, climbing the back of Kobe. See at the last moment, did you look at the hang time of Kobe Bryant at 6'6", hanging in there until he felt the contact.
Second foul committed by Shandon Anderson. Shandon Anderson played well against the Lakers in New York just before the All-Star break. 10 points. 19 minutes of play, instrumental in that comeback. The Knicks with a 17-0 run to get back into it. They were down by as many as 34. 40 seconds to go in the third. The Knicks with the ball at a 7-point lead. Once again, George defending against Houston. Yes, Allan Houston with 40 points. That's a season high. The Knicks 82 and the Lakers 73. Here is Bryant. Rebounded. Houston able to get to it and slapped it over to Isley.
Something has catapulted Houston tonight. We haven't seen this type of tenacity from him all season.
Final seconds of the third. Houston looking to put the move on George, and does from downtown. That's a season high 43 points for Houston. George from center court, right back. And a standing ovation for Devin George.
And that's a 47-foot shot, folks. The court is 94 feet long. Right at midcourt, right at halfway, the halfway point. He swishes it through, trying to get some retaliation against Houston, who has been abusing him.
After 3, the Knicks 85, Lakers 76. New York Knicks basketball is brought to you in part by the most respected, honored, and heroic 4x4s out there, only in a Jeep 4x4. By British Airways, the truly flatbed in business class. By Oppenheimer Funds, the right way to invest. And by Panasonic, ideas for life. It is on to the fourth quarter. Marv Albert, Walt Clyde Frazier, in what has been a terrific game here at Staples. The Knicks with an 85-76 lead. We've been talking all night about your former teammate, Phil Jackson, who spent 10 years with the Knicks, 67 through 78. Averaged just under 7 per game, an excellent defensive player. Was a member of the 73 Knicks championship team, was injured for the 69-70 run. And that brings us to our Nissan trivia question. Who are the last 2 Knicks players to wear number 18 after to Phil Jackson. Once again, the guys have sunk to obscurity. This is I mean, Clyde. Did you ever talk to these folks?
I tried, Marv.
Well, Brian Shaw is in for the first time, so now Phil Jackson has used his entire available 11 players. The ball back to the Knicks. And Dennis D'Agostino, who is doing the stats tonight, points out that Allan Houston has now come up with his third career 40-plus game. Houston with 43 points. He is one short of his career high. And there it is. Allan Houston with a career high as the Knicks have taken an 87-76 lead. 45 points for Houston, who has been brilliant. Now Houston, defending on Bryant, was able to score over the outstretched arm of Houston. 32 for Kobe Bryant. Charlie Ward has checked back in. Bad pass. Ori on the steal.
Thomas telegraphing the pass. Had a man open.
Bryant facing the double.
Baseline's open.
Good job by Houston. Kept alive by Ori, then Matson. And George pops it out to Shaw.
Lakers with some pizzazz now.
Brian Shaw from downtown.
Resounding rebounding by that time, giving Shaw the three-point opportunity.
The Knicks 87, the Lakers 81. We're just underway in the fourth quarter. Houston sets the pick. Here's Ward, able to penetrate. Rebounded by George.
Lakers with momentum now. Bryant is starting to assert himself.
Now Shandon Anderson defending on Kobe Bryant. Latrell Sprewell, Michael Goliak getting set to return. Shot clock to 6. Down to 3. Bryant. Rebounded by Thomas.
Anderson releases.
Bad decision by Shandon Anderson. Try to return it. And the Lakers will get it back.
Looked like he had Thomas open. The pass was a ride, so the Lakers have it in their backcourt.
So Allan Houston and Kurt Thomas sit down as Sprewell and Goliak return. 45 points for Houston, 16 of 27 from the field, 9 for 9 from the line. George, very rarely do you see George take that kind of shot, shooting on the run. Sprewell now being played by Shaw. Here's Sprewell whipping by Shaw. Weatherspoon stopped by Matson. Got a piece of it. Lakers showing some signs here at the start of the fourth. Here's Shaw for 3. That's his second from downtown. The Lakers within 3. The Knicks will talk it over. 8:01 for the Los Angeles Lakers. Tomorrow night, it's the Knicks and the Blazers from Portland. Live coverage comes your way starting at 10 o'clock. That's tomorrow night following Sports Fest right here on MSG. Blazers, one of the strongest teams in the NBA, and 33-18. They've won 7 of the last 10. They're currently in the number 4 spot in the Western Conference. This crowd very much into it. Capacity, crowd on hand, better than 19,000 at Staples in LA. The Knicks have led by as many as 12. They now lead by 3 with just under 9 minutes remaining on the fourth.
And with Houston on the bench, what Knicks will step up? Sprewell has had an off night tonight, so Goliak played well early in the first half. Someone has to provide offense now.
Weatherspoon is fouled. He was slapped, hit by Ori. Fouled in the act.
Nice bullet pass by Ward to find Spoon in the paint. So Spoon shooting 2.
Clarence, a 75% free throw shooter.
That was a pivotal play. You can see them quiet. The crowd is quieted down now, taking the crowd out of the game.
Knicks are 15 of 18 at the line. Here's Allan Houston checking back in. A brief rest.
See Allan right in front of me. I can feel the heat, Mark.
Yes. Clyde sat 52 seconds. And Don Chaney said, "You're ready." Knicks lead 89-84. Here's the double on Bryant. Spins away, finds Ori, stripped. Good play by Weatherspoon. Took it out of the hands of Ori.
Well, Ori was going for the dunk, but a good sleight of hand by Spoon. Good composure by the Knicks here, using some clock, making the Lakers play defense.
Ward from way downtown. Sprewell with the steal.
2 consecutive turnovers. Splendid D by Spree. Previously it was Spoon with the good hands.
Allan Houston stood at the scorers table. Check in at the next whistle. Sprewell for 3. Yes! Latrell Sprewell from downtown. So he has 10 points, and the Knicks open up an 8-point lead.
And that was a timely hoop. And we mentioned Spree, very mediocre play. That might get him going.
Here's Ori. Anderson pushing it. Ward with a beautiful pass to Weatherspoon.
And who are these guys? What composure, what continuity, spontaneity by the Knicks. Tenacious defense as well now. And this crowd has fallen silent. The Knicks dishing and switching. Spoon, who had been on the defense with some good plays. So Spoon, the recipient, they have a good pass from Charlie Ward.
Back in Los Angeles, Anheuser-Busch salutes parents who talk to their kids about drinking. We all make a difference. 7-0 run by the Knicks, and they have done it with defense.
Knicks in the lower echelon in steals. There's one by Spree. Watch the good hands. Spree in the passing lane, coming up with the steal right in front of the Knick bench. And then Spree, sporadic shooting, and bam, that was a big one right there, taking the crowd out of it. And then Spoon, who had made a good defensive play, rewarded by Ward in transition with the good stuff.
There's Jack Nicholson, who a moment ago, as Allan Houston was over at the scorers table reporting in, tried to provide the whammy on Allan, who laughed it off. Houston is back on the floor. Another Laker turnover.
Jack was looking like Dancing Harry.
Yes, he was. Jack getting desperate. Ward rejected by Walker. Weatherspoon is on it. And Weatherspoon, who has been instrumental in this Knick drive, has extended to a 12-point lead. It matches the biggest lead of the night.
Spoon omnipresent on both ends. Good defensive plays, and that time muscling on the offensive glass.
Here's Bryant on a step back. And Kobe has not been himself in the second half.
Could not get into a rhythm because the Knicks are keeping him on the perimeter, also hounding him with double teams.
Yes, the Knicks have done an excellent job defensively on Bryant. Sprewell got the step. Bryant called for the reach-in foul.
That's how Kobe makes his steal. He likes to come from behind you. That time Spree aware of that, protected the ball well, keeping it low. Watch Spree when he goes by him, protects the ball, knowing Bryant likes to come from behind. There was the contact. See, watch Kobe. He reaches around, but Spree has the ball in front of him. So it was a non-shooting foul. The Knicks have it now along the side.
That's 3 on Kobe, who takes a seat with 6:14 remaining in the fourth quarter. Shot clock down to 7. Sprewell way off. The Knicks have a 12-point advantage. Brian Shaw again from downtown. Has hit 3 from downtown.
Right, 2 from there, 1 from the other side on the elbow. So Shaw off the bench with some offensive punch.
He's a 35% shooter from beyond that 3-point line. Knicks lead 96-87. Here is Houston. Yes! A Dante, he can come out. He can throw it from the stands.
Right.
And he's going to score.
One of those nights.
47 points for Houston, adding to his career high. Fox lost. No, he regained it, and it's knocked away by Ward. Good play first by Houston, and then Ward. The crowd wanted to travel on Sprewell. Sprewell gives the Knicks a 187 lead with 5 minutes to go in the fourth.
Turnovers bedeviling the Lakers, but giving the Knicks credit. Good defensive intensity by the Knicks, forcing turnovers.
And the foul is called. Here's Kurt Thomas checking back in.
Let's take a look at this suffocating Knick defense. Fox wants the baseline. Houston hounding him. Ward right there to knock it away. Spree did travel, wasn't called, then switching it through along the baseline. But Fox come back on the ensuing possession, able to get into the paint to draw the foul. So this is live action. He's shooting 2.
And now Rick Fox hearing some boos from the crowd. It has been a magnificent game for Allan Houston, who has 47 points. The last Knick to score 50, Patrick Ewing, did it against Charlotte December 1st, 1990. Only 11 Knicks have scored 50 or more. Fox with the steal. Offensive foul. Charlie Ward once again able to draw the charge.
Ward always true grit. He turned the ball over, but watch this, not sulking. Fox 6'7", 235. Ward undaunted. He's full speed. So Ward is 6'2", 185, able to draw the charge, redeem himself for his turnover. And now he does it again, but it looked like it carrying off the leg of Fox. So the Knicks will have it along the baseline.
4.5 remaining in the fourth quarter. Nice play. Shandon Anderson from Charlie Ward, and the Knicks now lead by 14. Here's George, Devin George from downtown. Had a 3 earlier. It was from center court.
The Lakers can ill afford to trade hoops. They need some stops.
And Kobe Bryant walking over to the scorer's table, getting set to report back. Rick Fox all over. Allan Houston has to give it up. Shot clock down to 2. Sprewell for 3. Rebounded by Walker. Here's George, fouled, hacked by Thomas.
And that's what the Lakers like now. They can stop the clock, take some points off the board. So Devin George at the line for 2.
4 fouls on Thomas. Rick Fox will sit down with Kobe Bryant returning. Devin George at the line for the first time. 78% free throw shooter. Tomorrow night, right here on the MSG Network, it's the Rangers and the Ottawa Senators. Tune in at 6:30 for Geico Rangers game night. And the game telecast will get underway at 7 o'clock. That's tomorrow night here on MSG, the Rangers and Ottawa. The Knicks 102 and the Lakers 93. The Knicks trying to make it 2 out of 2 on this West Coast trip, coming off the win against the Suns in Phoenix on Friday night. Thomas. And here comes Shaw. Foul is called as Bryant was tripped up by Houston. That will not count.
Good spacing now by the Lakers. You see how they're opening up the court. Knicks have to respect their three-point shooting. They've been draining some shots, so they've been able to get into the paint. That time Kobe, but it's a non-shooting foul.
13 foul on the Knicks. Lakers have 2.
Knicks should just contest their shots. Do not foul them, stopping the clock, allowing them to take points off the board.
They double up on Bryant. Fisher. Bryant for three. Somehow he was able to get that shot off. The Knicks just swarming all over Kobe Bryant. That's his 9th straight game of 35 or more. 35 points for Bryant. Here's Houston, draws the foul.
The relentless Houston. Invincible, indefensible tonight. Let's take a look at Kobe. He hurt his ankle because he was right in front of the Knicks bench. And he was shooting the fallback baby three-pointer. Watch his foot get caught off the court right there. Watch his foot. See right there, he tripped over Nick. Turned his ankle. Already having trouble with the right knee. So, like Shaq, Kobe Bryant in some pain now.
Back in L.A., Clyde, here is that annoying Nissan trivia question. Once again, nothing personal against the nice folks at Nissan, but it is an obscure question come up by our staff. Who are the last two Knicks players to wear number 18 after Phil Jackson? Well, Ernie, no, we had no shot at that. But Ray Tolbert, who was a Knick for a brief period of time. All right. Kobe Bryant hanging in despite what appears to be a knee problem. He's still trying to work it out. Allan Houston at the line. He is 10 of 10 at the line. That's 48 points for Houston. 17 of 28 from the field. 10 for 10 from the line.
And Houston adding to his legacy this season. This is his best season as a pro. One of the best free throw shooters, a much improved defensive player, and infallible on the offense tonight.
The Knicks with an 8-point lead. 2.5 remaining in the fourth. Nice move by Fisher. Oh, lost control.
He thought it was foul. A lot of contact in there. Spree and Thomas. The Lakers retain it underneath.
Actually, Thomas got the worst of it because on the intended follow through by Fisher, he hit Thomas side of the face. Good job by Anderson against Bryant. Bryant fires one. And it's again somehow able to get it off from three-point territory and drilled it. 104 to 99. The Knicks looking to hold on to this 5-point lead as we approach 2 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. Houston, yes, 51 points for Allan Houston. The Knicks 106, the Lakers 99. That's the 12th 50-plus game in New York Knicks history. Brian Shaw finally missed a three, and a foul is called.
You'll advise as George goes down. He looks to be hurt over there.
Foul on Houston.
George in agony, looked like he might have hurt his back. Take a look at Kobe. We mentioned he gained 15 pounds of muscle right there, showing you the omnipotence of downtown, able to drain a shot. Allan Houston continues this proliferation, so they have not been able to deny him tonight.
And the Knicks' first 50-point game since Patrick Ewing did it December of 1990 against the Hornets. Here's Shaw, not the guy you want shooting. You could hear the groan from the crowd, even though he's been hot. Laker fans wanted the ball back in the hands of Kobe Bryant. Down to a minute and a half remaining on the fourth. The Knicks up by 7.
Knicks want it in the hands of Houston.
Shot clock to 5. They double up on Houston. Anderson, can he get it off? He does. And scores! Shandon Anderson with the bucket. And double technicals coming up. Kurt Thomas involved. Looks like Devin George involved.
We already saw Ori and Harrington previously in the game.
Gary Benson, the official, coming over to the near side.
Center of your screen. There's Thomas. There's George shoving him off. Right there, George with a flagrant elbow. He should have been charged with a flagrant foul. Hit Thomas in the jaw with his elbow. And
immediately, Allan Houston and Latrell Sprewell went over to Kurt Thomas and said, settle down. We have this 9-point lead coming up on a minute remaining in the fourth. Bryant being chased by Sprewell. Nice fake by Kobe. 40 points for Kobe Bryant.
The Spree loses it out of bounds. Good harassment by Bryant. Spree very nonchalant. Didn't see Bryant coming. Good effort by Kobe. The Lakers have it underneath.
So a timeout is called by the Lakers for Kobe Bryant. That's 5 straight 40-plus games. Just an incredible string being put together by Kobe Bryant. 14 of 30 from the field tonight. 9 for 10 at the line. There you see it. 5 straight games with 40 or more, and that ties a Laker franchise record. Ties it with Elgin Baylor, who is currently the general manager of the Los Angeles Clippers. Baylor did it back in 62, 63. All kinds of team records being set here tonight.
All right. Allan Houston, there is the great Elgin Baylor. Chamberlain, Abdul-Jabbar, Goodrich, a lot of my nemesis there, yes. Jerry West.
Some familiar names.
Oh, yeah.
The all-time Knick high, incidentally. Bernard King scored 60 in a game against New Jersey in '84. Here's Fisher off balance. That's a two-pointer. Had a foot on the line. 108-103. Just under a minute remaining in the fourth. The Knicks try to hold on to this lead. And in no hurry to get a shot off. Lakers do have a foul to give. Shot clock to 7. Fisher defending on Houston. Here's Ward for 3. Yes! The Knicks 111 and the Lakers 103. We're down to 35 seconds remaining in the fourth. Fisher able to recover. Here's George for 3. Oh, he keeps it alive. They set up the 3. Then Fisher. It's played well by Houston, so Shaw takes it. Brian Shaw with his 4th three-pointer. 111-106. And a foul is called with 20 seconds remaining.
A valiant effort by these Lakers. That time you saw them hustling to get downtown. Shaw, the recipient, so they would compel the foul now, but they had one to give. So non-shooting foul by the Lakers. Ward will have it right in front of the Knick bench in the backcourt.
Foul on Fisher. And now Don Chaney takes a timeout. We'll take a break. The Knicks 111, Lakers 106. The Knicks have 1 full timeout remaining. Lakers have 2 full timeouts left as we check out the Cannon Business Solutions game summary. The Knicks with a very consistent shooting performance, 54% for the game. At halftime, they were over 50. Lakers at 46. Both teams have done well from three-point land. The Knicks continuing their accuracy, 9 of 16. Allan Houston with an amazing 51-point performance. Kobe Bryant with 40 points. Shaq sitting out with a sore knee. Now this occurred just a moment ago after Derek Fisher was called for that foul in the Knicks backcourt. Here is a look at the foul. He was going for the steal, and when they went over to the bench during the timeout, you see this animated discussion between Phil Jackson and Derek Fisher. Phil was upset with that foul. So 20.6 to go, and the foul on George. So the Lakers go over the limit.
And Houston can add to his career high here as he will shoot 2 more free throws. Hopefully I will get an opportunity to talk with Allan tonight, and we'll see if what some of his critics said about not wanting to return to that game in New York when he got injured in the first half had anything to do with his proliferation tonight.
52 points for Houston. And if he hits this free throw, it will put him in a tie with Willis Reed. Nope. Timeout taken by the Lakers. The last Knick to hit for 53 points. And you were there, Clyde. Willis Reed, right here in Los Angeles, but it took place at the Fabulous Forum, November 1st, 1967. That was the Knicks' 4th highest total. Bernard King with 60. Richie Guerin one of my former broadcast partners, hit for 57 against the Syracuse Nationals in 1959. Bernard King had a 55-point game, and then Willis Reed had 53. Allan Houston has 52 right here with 19 seconds to go.
And the Knicks have needed every one of those points by Allan Houston tonight.
Dennis D'Agostino pointing out that Willis's 53-point game actually took place at the LA Sports Arena prior to play at the Forum. All right, we want to get that straight. A lot of calls on.
Willis was even calling.
Yes, right. What are you talking about? A look at the play of the game brought to you by Budweiser with a crisp, clean, refreshing taste you'll find in no other beer. This Bud's for you, and that jumper gave Allan Houston 51 points on the night.
And not only has he been contributing offensively, Houston has had a splendid game on the defense and overall teamwork. So unequivocally his best game as a pro.
19 and 4/10 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. The Knicks 112 and the Lakers 106. Knicks do not want a foul. Next foul puts them over the limit. Lakers already in the penalty. And the Lakers want a quick shot. Here's Shaw, and he is fouled. So that stops the clock, and Shaw to the line with 16.2 remaining.
And that's folly by Sprewell. That's not what Chaney wanted, because now the clock is stopped and they can take points off the board. And now they'll come right around and foul the Knicks again and hope that they miss their free throws. As we saw in Phoenix, it looked like a futile attempt by the Suns. Oh, Shaw misses this one. Knicks can breathe a little easier after that one.
Bryant Shaw has not spent much time at the line this year, only 7 of 11 from the foul line. It's 1 of 2, 112, 107.
Lakers will go for a quick steal, then a foul.
And once again, Knicks looking to get the ball into the hands of Allan Houston. They succeed, and the foul is given by Bryant to stop the clock. And Houston 12 of 13 at the line with 52 points in all, and the 52 points by Houston represents an NBA high for the season. So he surpasses Kobe Bryant, who had 51 against Denver. Make it 53 for Houston. .4 remaining in the fourth. The Knicks 113, the Lakers 107. So Allen has missed a couple of free throws here down the stretch, but he's 13 of 15 overall. Knicks by 6, 14.9 remaining in the fourth. All right, following Knick basketball, get a full recap of tonight's action, plus the rest of the day's news, scores, and highlights on the MSG Sports Desk, presented by Toyota. Kurt Menefee, Deb Kaufman will have it all for you. That's following the Knicks and the Lakers. 14.9 remaining in this fourth quarter. The Knicks 113, the Lakers 107. Laker ball as we resume. They just used their final timeout. Bryant from downtown, played well by Anderson. Sprewell is on it, and he is fouled. Latrell at the line for the first time. Sprewell came out all fired up and did well early first quarter, and then went into a drought. As you saw, 5 for 15 overall, but he does have 4 assists, 4 rebounds. Down to 9 seconds remaining in the game. Knicks up by 8. Here is Shaw for 3 and does it again. That's 5 from downtown. And then the foul is called with 1.5 remaining. Brian Shaw did not play until the fourth quarter. He's played the entire fourth quarter, 5 for 7 from the field, all from beyond that three-point line, and he has 16 points.
This is reminiscent of the Knicks game about a week ago in New York. A valiant effort by the Knicks coming back from seeming overwhelming odds, but to no avail. So a similar scenario tonight for these Lakers.
Ward at the line for the first time, and the Knicks once again getting to the line tonight. That's the case in Phoenix on Friday. They're 23 of 28 at the foul line. Whoa. Off glass. That's the way it's gone for the Knicks here tonight, as they have defeated the Lakers here in Los Angeles 117 to 110. Shaquille O'Neal sidelined by the toe injury and a sore knee. But that does not take away from this performance by the New York Knicks, as Kobe Bryant came up with another 40-point game. 13 of 31 from the field, hitting the 40-point mark. But the story tonight, Allan Houston, a career high, a season high in the NBA. 53 points for Houston. And the Knicks have opened up this West Coast trip by taking the first two, winning at Phoenix, winning here in LA. We'll be back in a moment.